Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do like an armature for an animal first. And what I did was I did a line drawing of my llama here. Just one continuous line drawing for the most part. And just to get a sense of what the shape is going to look like. And then I looked at it and I thought, okay, so I definitely want to get this shape started. And then the legs are going to be holding the structure. So I'm going to start with like 3 pieces like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the hardest stuff to work with, this stuff here, because it is the strongest. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to literally follow the shape. Now this is around the size that I want it to be, maybe a little bit bigger. So drawing this, so making your drawing big is helpful. If you don't have a big piece of paper, you can use grocery store bags or newspaper, or just find, or maybe even tape pieces together to get the size where you want it. And this is just a start. It's gonna probably be a little bigger than this eventually. What I'm doing is I'm just basically following, and it's gonna get a little wild here, but I'm gonna follow this shape for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close to what I'm trying to get. I'll cut this right here. This is going to be the face. And go ahead and kind of curve that in just so it holds its shape a little better. Now I'm going to basically do 2 loops or arches for legs. Even though the body is really taking up most of this, I want to get the basic structure just so it holds place, and then I'll do other stuff in there to like fill it in and wrap it around and look more like the actual llama shape. But this is just to get it started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an arch. And like I said before, this is the harder stuff to use. I'm going to make a fairly big piece because I want to get it to hold right here. So I'm going to actually wrap this around, and it's going to be hard because this stuff is the harder stuff to use. But I'm just going to wrap it around a few times like this. And then I'll use the armature wire to hold it in a little better. Actually, it's not as hard as I thought, so I'm going to go around a little tighter if I can. See if I can get this to really connect. There. So here I have this kind of shape started. I'm going to make these, I could actually turn this up to turn this one down to start getting it to look kind of like that sort of llama loop that I have. The little loop-de-loop feet. What I want is I want to get this thing to get to standing. So it's an actual armature. So I'm going to do 2 more, or 1 more like that. Like I said, this is the harder stuff to use. And I'm going to cut this one pretty long, like 1.5 feet, around 18 inches. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm really struggling with this stuff because it is the heavier stuff and it doesn't like to wrap all that well. Okay. And I'll just do this for now, just to see if I can get this thing to stand. Okay, so it's definitely not standing right now. And this neck is not as in proportion as I want it to be, so. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to strengthen it by putting yet, I'm going to actually get the armature wire. Which is this stuff. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this, because this is a lot softer and easier to work with. And I'm going to start to look at my start to like attach this to get some momentum and space between them. I know it's a little hard to see, but what I did was I wrapped this starting here down to here on this leg, and then I'm bringing this around to this leg to create that little belly droop. And this is not going to look perfect yet. At all. But it's a start. All I really want to do is get this guy to stand. So I'm going to connect here too, just to give it some dimensionality. And I think it's pretty close to standing now. Good enough. I'll show you what that looks like. So basically what I have are our four legs. They're not totally connected here. And I have the wire neck, and the belly is starting to come together. But what I did was I just basically, I have it now standing. So that is what you would call an armature. And it may not look exactly like this, but what I did was I pulled out basic shape here, here, and down here. Didn't really address the neck. Okay, but I definitely need to start wrapping around here now, next, and start to bulk out the legs. That's a basic animal structure. That's good.